From the deepest silence of primordial nothingness, when there was no light, no form, and time itself still slumbered, a faint breath stirred the void. From that stillness, chaos opened its eyes, not as a being, but as the beginning of existence. Waves of formless essence drifted outward, colliding, dissolving, as if the universe were searching for its first meaning. This was the era when every force remained raw, where a single movement could give birth to an age. Chaos, Gaia, Uranus, the Titans, the Cyclopes, the hundred-handed giants, and the quiet fear that would one day devour the sky. All destinies began here, in this trembling hush where creation first learned to breathe. From that trembling breath, the darkness cracked, revealing a fragile shimmer. Not the light of a sun, but the light of possibility, the quiet pulse of existence forming within the haze of the beginning. Chaos expanded, touching boundaries that had never been, shaping space, distance, and the first movement of all things. Chaos had no intention, yet its mere presence summoned what would come after. And in that soft stirring, Gaia would emerge, then Uranus, and the chain of fate would unfold. From chaos, everything begins. Did you know the universe began from an invisible void? Before there was sky, earth, or any god, everything was an endless chasm. Chaos, a realm without light, without time, without form. From chaos, the first beings slowly emerged. Erebus, the depth of darkness, and Nyx, the night that covered all emptiness. Then, from the union of shadow, the first light appeared. Ether, the pure light of the upper sky, and Hemera, the dawn of a newborn world. Everything began with chaos. But light and darkness were only the beginning. A vast presence was forming within the void. From that presence, Gaia would emerge. Amid the newborn light and shadow, a massive presence began to expand across the cosmos. From the depths of chaos, a powerful being emerged. Gaia, the primordial earth, foundation of the Greek world. Gaia spread wide, steady, carrying the first breath of life. She, or rather, this living earth, was not merely ground, but the spirit of existence itself. From her essence, Gaia shaped the mountains, the seas, and the ancient rivers. Every tremor of nature, every rhythm of the world, began with Gaia. But the earth could not remain alone. For the universe to have order, it needed something vast above it. From Gaia, a new power began to rise, a primordial sky, reaching upward. The appearance of Uranus was approaching. After Gaia shaped the earth, the cosmos still lacked a force that could rise above and cover all. From Gaia's very essence, a new being ascended, Uranus, the primordial sky of the Greek universe. Uranus expanded, rising higher and higher, arching over Gaia like an infinite dome. From that moment, sky and earth intertwined, creating the first harmony of the world. With Uranus, Gaia was no longer alone. Their union began a new era, the age of primordial gods, born from nature's raw power. But from their union, another generation was slowly forming. Beings stronger, wilder, destined to reshape Uranus's fate. They were the Titans, the first colossal gods. Their origin begins here. Before the gods of Olympus appeared, and long before Zeus held thunder in his hand, an age existed shaped by beings older, larger, stronger, born from the very first breath of the young universe. They were the Titans. From the union of Gaia and Uranus, the first 12 Titans rose, forming a primordial dynasty, shaping the entire Greek cosmos. They were not merely children, but forces, each tied to a fundamental aspect of existence. Oceanus, the river encircling the world. Tethys, the nourishing waters. Hyperion, the first beam of light. Thea, the brilliance of crystal and sight. Koios, the axis of knowledge. Phoebe, the glow of prophecy. Crius, the dark pillar of the night sky. Mnemosyne, the original memory. Themis, the ancient order. Iapetus, the spark of craft and mortal nature. And finally, Cronus, the youngest, sharp, cold, with a will to rebel. Under the sky of Uranus, the Titans grew in strength, every step shaking the earth, every breath echoing across Gaia's valleys. Yet suspicion grew, as Uranus, proud and fearful, looked upon his Titan children with dread. He feared their power, feared their future, feared being replaced. Uranus imprisoned their siblings, the Cyclopes and the hundred-handed ones, deep within Gaia, their cries thundering like earthquakes, turning Gaia's pain into wrath. From that pain, a seed of rebellion was planted. Gaia whispered to the Titans, but only one listened fully. Cronus, sharper than the stone sickle Gaia gave him, Cronus waited in the darkness, thoughts colder than the night. He knew the reign of Uranus was ending, and a new age was rising. Under the cover of night, Cronus gathered his Titan siblings, every step pushing the cosmos toward its first fracture, toward the war that would birth the age of the gods. The rise of the Titans had begun, but power cannot shape destiny alone. When Cronus lifted Gaia's sickle, the heavens trembled, for the first throne of the universe was about to change hands. The Golden Age, but long before that moment, long before Cronus or the Titans understood what power truly meant, the universe had already witnessed a far older event, a beginning from which every future upheaval would rise. When the 12 Titans first emerged from the body of Gaia, the cosmos was still trembling beneath their enormous footsteps, and yet, an even greater moment was waiting to be born. Gaia, vast, steady, nurturing, looked upward to the endless sky of Uranus, and sensed in him a profound harmony, a counterpart the young universe had been missing. Uranus, towering, cold, bright, spanning all space, recognized in Gaia not merely the Earth, but the foundation of all future life, a place the sky could anchor to, and where generations of divine beings could rise. And so, for the first time since creation began, Earth and sky approached one another, not through violence, but through primordial unity, the meeting of two incomplete halves. Their union had no ceremony, no chant, no sacred hall, only the breath of the earth, and the resonance of the sky, folding into one another, forging a bond no god could ever sever. From that sacred moment, the universe turned a new page. Gaia and Uranus were bound, and from their union, a vast and powerful lineage began to flow. The Titans looked up at the sky, seeing the light of Uranus soften, and felt the warmth of Gaia deepen, as if the two were speaking a language only the newborn cosmos could understand. But this union did not bring peace alone. It opened the way for beings yet to come, beings stronger, wilder, and utterly unlike the Titans themselves. And then, from within Gaia, the first rumblings began, signaling the arrival of something new. That moment leads us into the next story, the birth of the Cyclopes. The first rumblings rose from deep within Gaia, like the shifting heartbeat of the Earth Mother, a sign that something unlike the peaceful Titans was beginning to awaken. Gaia paused, sensing this change, and understood that the bond between her and Uranus was about to bring forth a generation unlike any before, a force even she could not fully measure. As the tremors grew, three colossal shapes emerged from the primordial darkness. Each step they took made the young universe shiver. They did not bear the harmony of the Titans, not graceful, not balanced, but fierce, solitary, born from the rawest energy of creation. On their faces, each bore only one eye, a single glowing orb like an unfinished sun, staring through everything, as if seeing the very bones of the cosmos. They were the Cyclopes, the one-eyed beings, born from the union of earth and sky, yet marked by a nature entirely their own, bound by no law the Titans understood. Brontes, the one who carries thunder. Steropus, the one who wields the lightning. Argus, the bearer of radiant fire. Three beings, three sources of cosmic power, like three new pulses of the universe. But their arrival did not bring joy to Uranus. Instead, Uranus looked upon them with deep fear, the fear of a sky that sensed a power it could never control. Unlike the Titans, the Cyclopes were too strong, too wild, too untamed to accept any order. And so, Uranus committed the unforgivable. He imprisoned the Cyclopes in the deepest chambers of Gaia, a darkness where no light could reach. Gaia cried out in pain, the Earth Mother groaning as her body tightened to contain her innocent children. This pain would become the seed of anger, of rebellion, and of the coming storm the universe had never witnessed before. The birth of the Cyclopes did not only mark a new generation, but the first great tragedy between Earth and sky, between Gaia and Uranus. And from that pain, another plan began to form, a plan that would change the order of the universe forever. This moment leads us to the next story. The Hundred-Handed Ones, the Hecatoncheires. From a darkness even deeper than where the Cyclopes had been imprisoned, Gaia felt another shift, heavier, more chaotic, as if the cosmos itself struggled to turn over and bring forth something beyond all natural limits. This time the tremors were not rhythmic, not measured, but clashing waves of force carving through the body of the Earth Mother. Gaia understood that another generation, another form of power unlike anything before, was preparing to emerge. In a realm where no light could reach, three colossal shapes began to stir. They were not titans, nor cyclops, but something far more primordial, far stranger, and so overwhelmingly powerful that their very presence distorted the space around them. When Gaia opened the deep layers of the earth, three monstrous beings rose from the abyss, their massive bodies covered with countless arms stretching outward like pillars of a world not yet formed. Each arm, each hand, carried a strength indescribable, capable of rending the sky or crushing mountains with a single motion. They were the Hecatoncheires, the Hundred-Handed Ones. Three brothers, Briareus, Cottus, and Gaius. They embodied raw violence, limitless force, and the untamed chaos that existed before order took shape. But like the Cyclops, their birth filled Uranus with terror. The sky could not accept the existence of beings with 100 arms, beings dozens of times stronger than any titan, beings that defied all cosmic boundaries. Fear turned into hatred, and once more, Uranus repeated his cruelty. He ordered the Hecatoncheires to be thrown into the deepest pit of Tartarus, a place so dark that even Gaia struggled to touch it, a prison where their agony shook the foundation of the world. Gaia cried out in despair, her body shuddering each time her children were driven into the abyss. The pain no longer felt like a wound, but a buried fire, building, gathering strength beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to erupt. Deep within herself, Gaia's grief slowly became a whisper, then a plan, then a call for rebellion directed toward the titans above. And only one heard it fully, only one carried a cold smile and a will sharp as the stone sickle Gaia would later place in his hands. Cronus. He watched Uranus's merciless tyranny, saw the suffering of his imprisoned siblings, and realized that the current order could not endure. A new age needed to be carved open, and he would be the one to end the reign of the primordial sky. This dark turning point leads us into the next tale, the rebellion of Cronus. High above the cold blue sky, Uranus looked down upon the world he ruled, yet something within him had begun to shift, a subtle unease that even a primordial god could not dispel. Since the titans grew in stature, since the Cyclops opened their blazing single eyes, and since the Hecatoncheires emerged with their 100 arms, a faint crack had formed within the heart of the Skyfather. To Gaia, these were children of life, of growth, of the natural unfolding of creation. But to Uranus, they became shadows stretching ever larger, omens of a future he feared he could not control. With every titan that towered higher, every cyclope who shone like an unfinished sun, every arm of the Hecatoncheires reaching upward like pillars of a new cosmos, Uranus felt his unease tighten around him. He feared their strength, feared their difference, feared even the possibility that the throne of the sky might be taken from him. And when fear took root, authority became fragile. Uranus no longer saw his offspring as living beings, but as looming threats, devouring pieces of the sky he claimed as his own. That night, the muffled roar of the Hecatoncheires rose from deep within Gaia, like thunder trapped beneath stone. Instead of hearing Gaia's cries of pain, Uranus heard only the echo of danger, and the dread of being overthrown. Fear clouded every judgment, driving him toward his first act of true cruelty. He bound the Hecatoncheires, casting them deeper, far deeper, into the darkest reaches of Gaia's body. The heavens shuddered, the earth trembled, and Gaia cried out as if torn apart. But Uranus felt a fleeting relief, believing he had secured his rule, if only for a moment. Yet in that moment, Gaia understood that the sky was no longer a guardian, but an enemy of life itself. Her suffering ceased to be a wound, and became an underground fire, spreading slowly beneath the crust, gathering strength, waiting for an inevitable eruption. From within her anguish, one titan listened more closely than the rest. The youngest, the shrewdest, and the most ambitious among them. Cronus, with eyes as sharp as the stone sickle Gaia would one day place in his hands, recognized that the age of Uranus was faltering, and that a new era could be opened if he dared to act. The fear of Uranus, instead of protecting his throne, unknowingly paved the path for his downfall. As the sky closed itself in certainty, Uranus did not realize that by imprisoning his own children, he had already sealed the fate of his reign. And below, in the depths, Gaia's whisper grew stronger, becoming a plan, a command, a rebellion that would reshape the order of the cosmos. The beginning of the overthrow had already begun. The trembling that lingered from Uranus's fear stretched across the sky like a silent warning, and deep beneath the earth, where Gaia breathed in quiet sorrow, a seed of uprising began to awaken. Cronus stood within the ancient darkness, watching the world suffocated beneath his father's rule, and in his chest, a quiet flame slowly rose. Uranus still ruled through fear, afraid his own children would rise, afraid of retribution, afraid that the throne of the heavens would one day slip from his grasp. Cronus sensed that trembling, a fracture forming within a power once thought eternal. Gaia called to him with a voice shaped from stone and soil, slow, deep, and weighted like destiny. She spoke of a world unable to flourish, of the sky pressing down upon the earth with a terror that allowed nothing to grow. She spoke of children imprisoned, of darkness untouched by light, and of a balance broken long ago. Cronus listened, and in every pause, he understood that Uranus's fear was the very door waiting for one bold enough to enter. He accepted the sickle Gaia forged, its edge ringing like the first echo of creation, cold, sharp, yet glimmering with opportunity. Cronus felt its weight, as though he held the fate of the cosmos itself. That night, when the sky descended in stillness, Uranus approached Gaia as he always had, unaware that the shadows no longer belonged to him. Cronus stood waiting, his breath deep as the mountains, his eyes burning with unwavering resolve. Destiny was no longer something bestowed, but something he would carve with his own hands. When Cronus swung the sickle, the heavens seemed to crack, and the echo of rebellion rippled through the ancient void. With that first strike, the old order began to fracture, and the future of the gods veered onto a new path. From this moment, nothing could halt Cronus, and the fall of Uranus had already begun. The echo of Cronus' strike still drifted through the primordial vastness, and the sky trembled as if wounded at its very core. The radiance that once crowned Uranus dimmed, thinning into pale strands of fading light, like the breath of a god unraveling. Cronus stood beneath the shuddering heavens, sensing his father's power slipping away, piece by piece, the way a tide withdraws from a desolate shore. Gaia watched in silence, yet the stillness around her carried the pulse of something awakening within the earth. She felt the ancient weight that bound her beginning to crack, releasing a breath she had held since the dawn of creation. The other titans remained in the shadows, witnessing not merely an act of rebellion, but the birth of a new sovereign rising before them. Uranus struggled to cling to his dominion, but his divinity fell from him like sand through trembling fingers. His gaze met Cronus, filled with fury, with helplessness, and beneath it all, with the same fear that had shaped this tragedy from its beginning. Each breath of the heavens stretched thin, and the drifting wind carried a mournful tremor, the lament of a ruler descending into oblivion. When the last thread of Uranus's strength dissolved, the sky twisted into a narrow ribbon of light, then tore itself from the world, as though destiny had split open. His fall did not roar nor crash, but unfurled within a vast chilling silence, as if the universe held its breath to mark the end of the first divine age. Cronus lifted his gaze toward the fading gleam, and within his eyes lay not only triumph, but the shadow of a destiny approaching, a destiny he had yet to comprehend, drawn to him as power seeks its next vessel. From that moment on, the age of Cronus began to rise, carrying the glow of a new era, but whispering storms that the world had never known. As the last shimmer of Uranus faded into the heavens, the world fell into a silence so vast it felt untouched by time. Yet within that silence, there was no ending, only the quiet pulse of a new age awakening. Cronus stood before the throne he had seized, cloaked in the glow of victory, and shadowed by a warning he could not yet comprehend. For any power born from chaos carries within it the seed of rebellion. And now, as the age of Uranus closed, the reign of Cronus began to stir, touched by the gentle gold of the coming golden age, and by storms even the titans could not foresee. Within the dim breath of the universe, the first order began to shift, and the fate of the young gods prepared to unfold, each movement shaping the future of the heavens.